Edwards on the drive, goes inside the floor. Turn him over again. Booker scoops it up. Booker brings the boom.
And we are bringing the boom, as always, on this Thursday afternoon, a thirsty Thursday. As always, we're back here with a 5-game slate in the NBA tonight. There's golf on that people are watching. It's been a very interesting day in our Discord. And, of course, there's golf this weekend. There's the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. Basketball is in full swing right now. And then spring training. Spring training, guys, just like 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away, people will be slinging baseballs from Florida to Arizona. And we will be excited for that. Yeah, that's right. We will be excited for that. Don't interrupt my monologue. Thank you very much. We are here with a new member tonight. He's filling in for DC. Sweet Big T. Big T is here. Big T, how are you on this lovely Thursday? It looks like you played someone who had a good shot there in golf, and people in the chat were getting excited for you.
Who? First of all, it's good to be on. Anytime I can come on with JT, I say it the same every time. Only get to do, we do a couple, football, we do it every week, but non-football, I take what I can get with my JT time. We were talking about it before the show. I get to at least 3/4 mass coming in, maybe full strength during the show, but always very strong to be on the show. And we got Travis to take down his backdrop. We were making fun of him. Still a month into his new place, still nothing hung on the wall. I mean, JT, you didn't acknowledge this, but what's an acceptable time frame to get something in your office? Like, look at him behind him. What's the time frame?
Well, it depends. I mean, there are people who are in the witness protection program, people who are out on, ankle bracelets, things of that nature. You're in a temporary location. We don't know if that's the situation with Travis, but I would say, a month maybe. You want to have some things set up. You want to have it look like if you're going to entertain at your house, right? For instance, you're going to bring over even a not so special lady, just someone that's going to hang out for a couple of hours. You want them to not feel like they're in Guantanamo Bay, but Travis may not want that same thing. So
do you think he's still got the TV on the ground in the family room? Do you think or has it been hung by now?
100%.
Just sitting right on the ground still?
Yeah. Our goal, by the way, Big T, it's not to get you to full extension. Maybe just a little leakage by the end of the show. Maybe just a little bit of.
I already got a little leak.
A little bit of moisture to.
What if it already happened?
To make it, to make it. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Jason Gordon, you should be in the Politico YouTube chat. Thank you very much. Travis, we're obviously talking about, I would say your abode, but I really don't know where you're at now. So
sitting on a mattress on the floor with his laptop.
Travis, what's going on? You survived the cuts, by the way. Run Pure Sports did eliminate its DEI program. You were the last one to be saved. How are you doing on this Thursday?
Listen, I'm glad to have made the cut. It's good to be here. Good to be with you guys. Yes, the TV is still on the floor, Big T. So
you ever lay on the carpet and just look for like back in childhood where you just lay on the carpet and look straight at it?
I have done that before, and actually there was one time my friends they were bored one night and they're like, "Oh, you guys want to do something?" I was like, "You can come watch a movie at my place, but we're laying on the floor." Like,
you guys watched a movie with the TV on the ground and you all just laid there?
Yep.
These were other men.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag of people. So
I can't. Big T, I can't say that I've ever gone over to another man's house and sat Indian style on the floor to watch anything, to do anything, to have a conversation. Nothing. It's never happened in my lifetime. Have you ever done this? Have You ever had a friend? Has Uncle T ever said, "Hey,
Cool.
Uncle T.
my
Go over
wife,
Uncle T's and watch
I'd like
it
to get
style.
your hair done, and I'm waiting on some new furniture. Why don't you come over and watch the Reds game? We'll just sit and on the floor." Has that ever happened to you?
I can't say it is, but I did appreciate that tweet from Travis because I just know how true it is. One of my favorite tweets ever. Just the TV just straight on the ground. I told the story, but I've moved into, I don't know, we've probably had 5 or 6 houses / places we've lived since we've been married. And the first thing I do every time, hang the TV and get internet no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Before I even move into the house, TV's on the wall.
You need to have that. First of all, you need to have that while you're preparing to move in, so that you have something to do while everyone else is moving things in and doing the work. Because it's not going to be me at this point in my life. I am not moving boxes, right? It's someone else doing it. I'm sitting there watching whatever I want on TV, relaxing, because the first thing that comes in is the couch that I want to sit on and the TV.
Correct. 100%. We're in unison. But that's what makes Travis so special. Our boy, sweet Travis. He's built different, as they say.
You know what I did? You guys will laugh at this. So, because there's nothing in like the living room, right? I have my golf clubs in there. So I was sitting there swinging my clubs.
You have just no furniture and you just swing golf clubs in the family room while you're watching TV?
I was swinging the club for a little bit. Yeah, I was swinging it. And it's funny because when I did it before, I was fine. But I guess I moved a little too far over. And
at least you can't break nothing. There's nothing in there.
No, I did. I actually broke the ceiling fan. So there's the light and the thing around the light, like the little cover. I smashed one of those. So then it went all over the place. I had to pick it all up. And so I've been swinging clubs in there a little bit, though, Tony. Watch out. I might be coming for you on the course.
If you're breaking ceiling fans, you're not coming for me on the course.
All right. Well, no satisfactory answers here. There's no satisfying end to that conversation. Travis is stealing Wi-Fi from his neighbors, no doubt. But we've got
watching the rest of the show from the floor, Indian style.
Exactly. All right. So we've got 5 games, and obviously a short slate. We'll be able to get through it. If you guys have questions about anything, about the slate, about Run Pure Sports, if you have questions about Mangone and his lifestyle or lack thereof, I mean, you have questions about anything that's going on, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll get into this 5-game slate here, but Travis, we see once again Jonas Valanciunas is going to be very popular. There's some popular plays on the Wolves because Mike Conley's questionable. DiVincenzo is still out. What are you seeing your first look here at this 5-game slate?
Yeah, there's J-Val Chalk to obviously talk about, so that's going to be a big talking point. We'll get to that, but I actually don't mind it. Another thing, too, to talk about this slate that I think is pretty interesting. Obviously, the Mike Conley news will be big. We've talked about the Timberwolves pricing, so that's another big piece that we're waiting on. Of course, LeBron, you never know that he could sit. You got the Ja Morant. You got a ton of different pieces of news. So it is one of those slates that's going to be a little bit of a marathon, not a sprint. Last night felt more like a sprint. You're going to have to make adjustments to your lineups. And, of course, I said this in the Discord chat. If you're a Run Pure Sports member, I said this yesterday. I said, I'm so excited to have a slate where we get to roster the Washington Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Utah Jazz. I mean, I didn't even include the Portland Trailblazers. So it's definitely a lot of these teams that we don't love to roster or deal with. And that means maybe we don't embrace the chalk a little bit more and we look to get off the board within some spots.
Big T, JSU yesterday, I think it was on the Up to Lock show, said he expected that LeBron was going to sit tonight. They are in the nation's capital. Of course, LeBron may be cozying up to all those sexy Democratic senators in his time in D.C. and maybe take the night off, a little bit of seduction, dinner with Liz Warren. Who knows? What are your thoughts here, the first things you look at on this slate?
Yeah, a lot of what Travis said. You got some of these teams that are unpredictable with just sitting guys and just weird rotations. Get them all in one slate, and you get somewhat spread out. You got the two early games, but then you got 9, 9:30, and 10. I always like it when you get a half-hour differences. I wish it was like 7, 7:30 even, and then 9, 9:30, 10, because it's always I just like the short slates when you can make adjustments game by game. But yeah, LeBron, I could see him sitting versus Washington. I mean, you look, Washington's just so bad that the Lakers can win without LeBron. Obviously, AD left early. It was yesterday, right? Or was it 2 days ago that he left?
2 days ago.
2 days ago he left early.
So they were on it. This is, I believe it's a 3-4 for the Lakers. Of course, Davis with a big game against the Hornets. Next game against the Sixers. Not a surprise that he doesn't have the same type of performance, but he has one of these injuries, and now he's out at least a week. So you've got no Davis. And if LeBron plays, Big T, he's looking at 50 to 60% ownership just based on, as you guys talked about, rotations for some of these other teams, the matchup against the Wizards. So there is that going on.
And it'll be key, obviously. I'm glad it's the early game because some of these guys, you always want to target Washington, obviously. They play no defense. And you have some of these guys, like if he's out, Austin Reeves, 8,500. And the insane part is I still think he's like an incredible play, even priced way up like that, just because this matchup is just the stone nuts. And some of these other guys too, like Jackson Hayes, he's going to be rolling to the hoop all night. You have to like the Lakers, but obviously we got to wait for the LeBron news. I kind of hope he's out. If he's in, I don't love LeBron in these spots as much, where it's just a weird, easy spot. I like him more in tough spots the older he gets. It feels like, what's he really going to – that's why I think he kind of sits, honestly, just because the Lakers have been playing better basketball for the most part too. I just don't see it. The key for me, though, is definitely the Minnesota side where Conley's terrible, but if he sits out, you just have to look at these guys. They don't have anybody. Rob Dillingham, Ant, obviously at 9,500. Jaden McDaniel's been awesome, but it's weird. That's how NBA DFS works. A dusty guy like Mike Conley could swing the slate a decent amount just by missing, just because it's one less guy in there handling the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about, of course, that game. We'll get started now, though, with that game that we were talking about, the Lakers and the Washington Wizards. A 223.5 total. Lakers favored by 9 points here. As we mentioned, Anthony Davis is going to miss, as is Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Christian Wood will remain out. Some injuries on the Washington side, though, as well. Malcolm Brogdon and Alexander Sarr are going to miss this game. LeBron, Gabe Vincent are questionable. DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, questionable for the Lakers. Rui Hachimura, probable. Jackson Hayes starting, Travis. People in Discord were talking about Rui saying revenge. I think it's been like, 3-4 seasons since Rui was with the Wizards. And revenge, I mean, you're kind of happy to leave that organization no matter what. But what are your thoughts here on the Lakers-Wizards? And do it this way. If LeBron plays, what are you liking? If LeBron does not play, how does that change things?
Yeah, I mean, if LeBron play or doesn't play, like the slate just absolutely just becomes smashing the Lakers, right? You're going to want Austin Reeves, even though he's 8.5K. And even with AD out, I think Austin Reeves is in play at 8.5K. Rui would become an amazing play at 4.9. Max Christie, Jackson Hayes. I mean, all these guys would be in consideration. I wouldn't want the starting lineup that would be valuable, like if it gave Vincent at 3-6 started. Maybe it's just a game where they give him a pile of minutes. So we'd have to see. I think that's an important, obviously, piece of news, and we'll get that right away, right? This game starts at 7 Eastern. We should know by 6:30 at the latest, but you never know with the way the NBA is these days. I'm expecting LeBron in just because I'm hoping. It's more hopefulness that he's in because I don't want to deal with this shit show. LeBron at 10.5, he would be a really good play right now, and so is Austin Reeves and Rui. I think those guys are really good. Jackson Hayes is not a bad option at 4.5. The problem with Jackson Hayes that you're going to run into on this slate is if Jackson Hayes is a value, what are the other centers that we have on this slate, right? Do you like a Valanciunas more if he's starting and in a good spot? Like, that is something you're going to have to ask yourself. And listen, Valanciunas on the opposite side of Jackson Hayes' defense, I mean, at 5'7", that sounds good to me. And yes, you can make the argument, I can play two centers. I get that. But there's people playing multiple lineups, right? JT, you're playing 150 lineups. You just can't lock both these centers. So they'll both be obviously really good plays. That will be a big decision point that I think you'll have to have is who do I want more ownership on? Do I want more ownership on Jackson Hayes or do I want it on Jonas Valanciunas? Of course, if LeBron does miss too, you know what that is? That's actually really good for the Wizards because maybe they actually have a shot to win the basketball game. I mean, I think they have a shot even with LeBron in, but I do think that makes their chances exponentially even higher. You have Jordan Poole at 6'9", who's not a bad play. Kyle Kuzma with a little bit of revenge. You can toss that in there as a revenge guy on this slate. Bilal Coulibaly at 5.5K. I know he's been pretty solid. And Kevin, our guy, K Falick, he posted in the Discord chat, he posted some charts for the people. So if you want the charts on the rotations of these guys, you can go in the chat and check that out. But overall, there are some really good plays on the Wizards. I would rank it as Valanciunas 1, Poole 2, Coulibaly 3. That's probably my rankings of the top 3. And then on the Lakers side right now, I mean, I rank it LeBron number 1. Then it's probably Reeves 2, Hayes 3, Rui 4. So if LeBron ended up being ruled out, that would kind of be my top 3 guys I would go to.
Charts are always very exciting, Tony. I am definitely not locking Valanciunas. I actually said last night in Discord, last night he was coming in projected to be around 35-40% owned. And I said, look at that ownership. He doesn't have nearly the ceiling of 5 to 6 other centers that were on last night's slate. Sure enough, he has 19 fantasy points. Again, depending on what you put around him, maybe that was enough. At 45, maybe even 50% ownership on a short slate. The thing with Valanciunas is when he's gotten the opportunity to start, when Sarr has been out, the minutes haven't moved. He's still getting 20 to 24 minutes. That's been what, about what his ceiling minutes-wise is. And so you need him to be very efficient, which I guess he could be against Jackson Hayes. But at that ownership, what are your thoughts here on Valanciunas and then address the Lakers situation?
Yeah, I'm with you on Joe Val. I all year, every time I've been on the show and Joe Val's been in I don't see it. Now he's 5,700. He still gets no minutes. I don't think he's honestly that different of a play than Richaun Holmes at 3K. And granted, I'm not saying they're literally the same upside, but based on
if they're going to split minutes roughly evenly, which is what they did last night.
Even if it's not dead even, but yeah. I mean, 5,700 for Joe Val with his minutes capped is just crazy to me. I especially as chalk. So I definitely don't like Joe Val and my boy, our boy Benny Boom, Big T. I'm the guy that predicted Drew Lock week 17 optimal. Would you like I like the Drew Lock nuts on my mama's chin play of the night. Who is it? Benny Boom. I like that. Who is it? But yeah, I actually like Richaun Holmes, Bub Carrington at 3,700. I think this game is good. Coulibaly 5,500. I like him. But the Lakers side's the side I'm interested in, and the guy I actually like in this matchup, Travis didn't bring up, is Dalton Connect. There's some of these spots where you play a soft defense. If LeBron's out, he'd be my play of the night, Dalton Connect at 3,900. I think he's got upside. And so you look at the Lakers roster, and one thing I think I'm good at in NBA DFS is just seeing these spots when you don't have scoring. And so Rui's not really a scorer. Jackson Hayes definitely isn't a scorer. Max Christie's a spot-up shooter. Vanderbilt's not a scorer. DFS isn't a scorer. Dalton Connect's like one of the only guys outside of Austin Reeves that can score. So I think he takes a big-time role, especially if LeBron's out. I mean, 3,900, he's got to be a really good play. But even if LeBron's in, I think he's a better play than like Jackson Hayes or Max Christie at 4,600. I can't do that. He just doesn't do enough for me. But DFS, same thing. Jared Vanderbilt's just a defender. So I actually Austin Reeves is going to be a good play either way. Because even if LeBron's in, I could see Austin Reeves taking on like the point, just initiator role in a game like this versus Washington. So my rankings would be Austin Reeves 1, Dalton Connect 2. Like I said, if LeBron's in, I don't think I like LeBron. I don't love him in this spot, especially as owned. Those are the two guys that I like the most. And then the Washington side, I like Richaun Holmes a decent amount as a pivot off of Joe Val. So I got some contrarian takes early, I think.
Yeah, Rashawn Holmes, 3,017 minutes last night. Valanciunas, 23. So last night, and again, it's a back-to-back. The minutes aren't static on back-to-backs as much as
I think they're similar to that, though.
Well, but I think there's an opportunity for Holmes to get 20 minutes tonight, and so you look at him at 20 minutes at 3K, and then he's maybe an interesting play, and certainly I personally will be lower on Valanciunas than the field. Once again,
the counter to the Holmes thing, JT, I'll just say is there anyone we're dying to spend up on, especially if LeBron gets ruled out? I mean, that's the one issue you are going to run into on this slate. Not saying you can't play a 3K Rashawn Holmes, but I do think that's worth calling out on this slate.
Yeah, I guess my point isn't I'm not like in love with Holmes. My point is he could outscore Valanciunas, and Valanciunas is going to be 50% owned, close to that. So
it's totally fair, JT. I'm just calling out we don't have the Jokic's and the Wembys. Like our most expensive guys, LeBron at 10.5, and then it will be Trae Young at 9.8 and at 9.5. Like it does drop off really fast today. And
there's still there's significance to floors though. Like all of a sudden on a slate like this, you can play like Ant, and you don't need 60 from them. You get 50 or something, and you're in pretty good shape. Just the way the slate sets up. But I agree with you. Like you don't have to play Rashawn Holmes by any means.
Sure. I understand it's a leverage play and everything. I do think that's a good context to the slate. Like someone might be like, "Oh, you can't play Austin Reeves at 8.5 today. He's too expensive." Like, and it's like, no, it's salary might not matter as much up at the top as you think.
All right, fair points. Fair points here. We'll move on to the next game, the other 7:00 Eastern game. This is the Atlanta Hawks heading into play at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland favored by 10.5, a 240 total. Big T, and some significant injuries on the Atlanta Hawks. Jalen Johnson is going to miss the season. They are maybe trying to trade Bogdanovic, trying to find someone to take him off of their hands. He's going to miss tonight. Clint Capella is out tonight, maybe trying to move him as well. Zachary Rasacher is going to play. Trae Young is going to play. On the Cleveland side, it's just Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro. That is out. Sam Merrill, questionable. It's tough, I think, to look at any one of these Hawks at these prices and considering the matchup. I've been watching these Hawks games and seeing how teams are really forcing the Hawks to do it with anybody but Trae Young, doubling Trae Young, picking him up as soon as he gets the ball. And, Cleveland's had pretty good defense. I think for the Cavaliers, there's some interesting plays. Josh Allen is very cheap and certainly a pivot for just 800 more than Valanciunas in a matchup that's been good for opposing centers all season long. What are your thoughts here on the Cavs and the Hawks?
You're right about the Hawks side. I mean, what is this Josh Inglewoman talking about anyways? 50-point upside? Whew. But the prices on these Hawks guys are crazy. I like a few of these guys, but Okongwu's up to 69. Dyson Daniels. I love Dyson Daniels. I've talked about it all year. But, man, 7,500 is tough sledding once you get up there for these guys. Everybody. Krejci's 5,900. Our boy Keaton Wallace is expensive. There's just not any price breaks. And Trae Young, to my point about the Rashawn Holmes, you can play him just hoping to get like 50, where normally if you played him at 9,800, I'd want 60 or somewhere in there. I think tonight it's definitely a lower ceiling slate, just the way it sets up. Exactly what Mangone said. There's no Jokic. There's no big time studs on the slate. So I think your expectations are lower, but Trae Young's been terrible. And like you said, they're going to make other guys beat them. I know Cleveland is going to make other guys beat them. Why wouldn't they? They're a smart team. They're a good team. So I think Trae Young's still the only guy really that's in play for me just because of the prices. And again, I'm just going to put it in SaberSim. I'm going to project him for like 45, just where we got it. And if he happens to hit, then I'm okay with it. I don't like him though. And then the Cleveland side, I think some of these guys are in play just based on the slate, but again, the price points are tough. Ty Jerome was awesome yesterday, but we got Garland back. Garland's somewhat sneaky in this spot too, because you're going to have Dyson Daniels, probably the best defender, the best guard defender in basketball, or one of them. You got to think he's going to be on Donovan Mitchell, and that's going to leave Darius Garland kind of roaming free at 7,600. He's similar to like the Lakers situation where I was talking about with Austin Reeves at 8,500. It feels a little expensive to get Garland at 7,600, but again, like if you play Reeves at 85 and Garland at 76, that's one way to spend some money. And even though I don't think the stars at the top end have upside, I think Garland and Reeves both have significant upside in these spots. So I could see myself going that direction. You got Jalen Tyson started last night. He didn't go crazy or anything, but he's still 3K. I don't know. I like the Cavs a decent amount. I don't think there's any incredible price points, but I do think you can play some of these guys.
I think the Jared Allen price point for me, I like a couple of these Cavs, but I think the Jared Allen price point and the fact that he's coming off a couple of mediocre games, I think he's interesting at much lower ownership than some of the other centers. Travis, what are your thoughts on the Hawks and the Cavs?
Yeah, I do want to address a chat comment. Someone said they're hearing murmurs of Donnie sitting. That's not true. He tweeted it out. He said it. Let him know. Whenever Donnie Mitchell tweets this out, he plays. So
what are they hearing, Travis?
Mummers? I think I said it. I said mummerings, or
they're hearing mummers. All right.
Mummers. Oh, murmurs. Sorry, I can't read.
With news like that, it's not going to matter anyway because you're going to know before the game anyway. So it's not going to change anything.
Yeah, but so they're wrong. He tweeted it out an hour ago. So whoever said that is wrong. I don't believe and trust what they say. You just wait for Donovan Mitchell on that.
Travis, it's fake news, is it not? It's fake news.
Yes, I'm just letting the people know. So you don't need to adjust for that. One thing I do disagree with Big T on is. And maybe because I'm playing more FanDuel than DK, but I do think Okongwu is a really good play. Now, if this team gets blown out, right? Yeah.
He's 7K on FanDuel too?
He's 6'9", but they need Tony. They need his size. Who's playing the 5? Tell me who's playing the 5 tonight for the Atlanta Hawks? Like Jared Allen and Mobley. Who's playing?
Has Okongwu literally ever played minutes?
Yeah.
Okongwu will play starters minutes.
He's been starting.
Well, what does that mean? I mean, what's the most minutes he's played? He never plays. I'm looking at all his minutes. He never plays more than 29 minutes. Like
he's been starting and crushing. He's had some.
But he doesn't play any minutes. Like I don't know.
I mean, 29 is starters minutes. It's not Nick's starters minutes, but it's starters minutes. I mean, you guys can have.
Keep in mind, some of the games you're looking at is when Clint Capella was in. Capella is
a good matchup. Like it's
Tony. It doesn't. This is the thing. They need his size. Yes, the matchup sucks. I talk about this all the time. If someone is going against like Rudy Gobert, right, they need their size to play minutes. Now, if the game blows out, yes, of course, the minutes will be wonky and weird, but it's an if-then scenario. If this game stays close, then Okongwu is going to get
My scenario is if you play Okongwu, then you lose money.
Well, I think you're wrong here. So I'll find some dusty player that you're playing later on, and we can put him in.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Can I pick a 7K guy and go get Okongwu?
Well, positions matter.
Why can't my boy Gui, who started the last game, why can't he be a big?
Who?
Gui or whatever the dude's name is.
Oh, that's Muhammad. I think it's Gay. I think it's pronounced.
Muhammad Gay. Why can't Muhammad Gay get the job done?
I do like him. I'm a big fan of him as a cheap value. So he is someone that would be on the board as well as an interesting play in this game. But I do think that it's a good spot for Okongwu and Mr. Muhammad. When it comes to some of these other options, like I think Vic Krejci is way better when Trae Young is out. Trae Young being in likely, I'm more concerned. Don't really want to go there. Do you want to go back to the Ty Jerome experience from the other day? It's like Garland's back now. Is this really a necessary spot to get to? I don't think so with the price increase. So he's not a priority play to me. I assume Max Strus is going to continue to start. So for me, I'm really just looking at the big man. I think you can make the case for the Cavaliers bigs, and you can make the case for Donovan Mitchell as a spend as well. So it's really looking at the Cavs and Hawks big men, who we talked about, Okongwu and Mr. Gay. And then I think obviously if you're
Larry
looking at
Nance, why can't Larry Nance play against these guys? I don't understand. They got bigs.
they play Larry Nance at the 4. They don't play him that much at the 5. And he's you want to go with the minutes, Tony? Oh, all season long he's only played 20
He's
or 19.
4K, not 7K.
Yeah, but he's also Larry Nance, and he fucking sucks. So
And he played in Cleveland. He was good in Cleveland. He's comfortable there.
Well, you're not getting Larry Nance. Cleveland is not walking in the door tonight. I'm just going to let you know. This is Larry Nance, the Atlanta Hawks. So,
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna move on. Chat is lively. We love to see lively chat. Tony Anderson doesn't think LA can blow out Washington. I think that game may stay closer.
Me, you, and Mangone could blow out Washington.
Okay. They're without Anthony Davis.
I want Jordan Poole, who is the worst player in basketball, against Okongwu. They're both the same price.
they're both the same price. The problem is if LeBron.
Oh, immediately you say the problem is?
No, it changes the game if LeBron's out because it makes it.
Well, if he's out, it can be void. That's fine. Which way is it voided?
Which way is it voided? If LeBron's in, it's voided.
If he's in, it's void. If LeBron's in, they're the same price.
It's because LeBron out makes it where the Wizards can actually hang in the game. Like, what do you mean?
LeBron doesn't play defense. What are you talking about?
That's the opposite.
Guys, you fucking know that
If he's
LeBron.
out, it should be
You're
voided.
going to tell me, JT, LeBron out doesn't change the line of the game? Come on, JT. Come on.
By how much?
Yeah,
2
but that
points?
would help you.
It would help by a bunch. No, it helps you. It helps you because Washington.
Yeah, but you said it'd be voided if he was in. That would be opposite. You said it opposite.
I think for DFS.
If LeBron is out, I want it voided. That's
For
what I-
DFS.
Yeah, if LeBron's in, then what can I bet on it? Jordan Poole's out. What is he talking about?
No,
Jordan
he's
Poole's
not.
out.
It's actually now you get fucking timeout. Actually, you get
Yeah, just
timeout.
say people
Timeout.
are
You
out.
do that again, you get banned. This is no more. We had someone joking about Şengün earlier. Şengün is questionable. We take this to. I'll ban everybody. I don't give a shit. We'll just talk to ourselves. It's fine.
Yeah, someone said he was out too. He's not out either.
No, he's not out. He's
Why are
questionable.
people just saying guys are out?
We're gonna start. We've started to drop the hammer of punishment here. All right.
We will get the LeBron news. So if we don't get it, we can circle back at the end of the show, Tony. Very easy.
We're not going to get it before we're off.
What do you mean? Yes, we are.
We are?
We'll get.
We're definitely not going to be on at.
Sorry.
6:30, so.
We got a lot of time before too.
Yeah.
We will get an update. I feel
Why
pretty
can't we
confident.
just say if he's in? We got to lock it in before you start second guessing and realizing you're a donkey with that take.
I'm not second guessing. Okay. So just
Okay.
again, Okongwu is going to be a good play and a good player, and by the end of the season, you're going to realize this and be like, "Oh man,
I like Okongwu as the player. I never said I don't like him. I said I don't want to pay $7K for 28 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be March, and you're going to be wanting to spend up for 8K for him, buddy.
Oh
So
my
get
God.
ready. 8K Okongwu is about to shove it up your ass in a couple of months.
All right. In the 9 o'clock window, we've got the Wolves taking on the Utah Jazz. This is an exciting game, I guess, for DFS. Wolves favored by 6, 225 total. Travis, Mike Conley was a midday downgrade, I believe. He is questionable. Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid are feeling much better, and they are off the injury report. For Utah, it's the usual absolute mess of an injury report. Johnny Juzang has been ruled out. Cody Williams is out. And then Clarkson, Collins, Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and Colin Sexton are all in. That means a lot of bodies in Utah. Travis, what are your thoughts on this game?
I just got to bring this up real quick.
Oh,
Drew, Okongwu played 29 minutes versus Cleveland earlier this year. The result was 25 DK points. Are you playing him from that night? Like, the same thing doesn't happen over and over again. I mean, if it is, go play that fantasy sport. But that's not what we play over here. So, anyways, back to the point. The point is, Mike Conley, we need that news. Super important. That's going to be the biggest piece of news. Actually, LeBron's going to be the biggest piece, but Conley's probably the next biggest piece. We might not have that by law for what it's worth. That is something we might not have in time. We might not even get the update in time too. So that's another big thing. So that might make some of these plays lower owned. Like one thing to think about is, let's say everyone does decide to load up on, like, certain positions, right? Let's say they load up on early point guards. Okay. maybe they can't get to Rob Dillingham if they're playing cheap point guards earlier on. Rob Dillingham, I think, could be a really, really good play on this slate. So he is someone that I'm definitely looking at. I don't know if it's saving the roster spot open for, but I'm very interested in the Timberwolves because I think Conley sitting makes a lot of sense against Utah. It's not just against Utah, it's in Utah. This is where a lot of guys sit out. So I think it's a great spot to look at some of these guards. Dillingham against Utah seems like a great spot. So I want to have that 3,200 value play open. If I could take Rob Dillingham versus Rashawn Holmes, Tony, I would love to slide in and get that action if you're interested.
What if Conley's in? I'll be taking my boy Rob anyways. Rob's
no,
my boy.
I'm so confident Conley sits, Tony. I don't need it. If Conley's in, I'm okay with it. He's going to sit. That's how confident I am.
So then what you're saying is Dillingham is a pivot off of the Alexander Walker chalk because projections and ownership projections have adjusted with the thought that Conley's going to sit, and now Alexander Walker is going to be 50% owned. So are you saying you'd rather play Dillingham, or are you going to play both those guys? Because as we talked about, there's so much value. There's not a lot to pay for. You maybe don't need both those guys. Maybe that's not the optimal way to play.
You can make the case for both. And one reason why Nickeil Alexander-Walker is gaining the ownership that you're seeing is because guard and forward, right? 3,400. It's just you have so many abilities to roster him with that guard and forward eligibility. So that is one of the reasons why. Again, he's a solid play, but he will be very chalky. I do like Jaden McDaniels a little bit. I like him in the matchups where you're playing against a sloppy basketball team, right? So definitely going to be a good spot for someone like him. So I'm interested in him in this spot for sure. And Edwards is, if you think the game's going to be close, he's a fine spend. It does feel like a really good Julius Randle spot at 7.5K. So I'm definitely in on that. And then, of course, you got the Rudy Gobert revenge. I know the chat's been talking
I'll
a little
go
bit about.
hatless right now. I don't care.
How about shirtless?
I don't know if I'll go shirtless, but
Why are we going hatless?
huh?
Shirtless.
Why are we going hatless? What's the reason for it?
They were making fun of us. I don't know what they were.
Well, whatever. Anyways, Rudy Gobert, 5.6K. I think he's a pretty good play. So there you go.
Big T, the Wolves and the Jazz. You've already said that Rob Dillingham is your guy. You obviously like him tonight. What else are you thinking about in this game?
They like the cut. That's a fresh cut. That's a fresh fade.
We haven't had a cut in a year. I'll call that out.
But Utah is maybe the worst.
Misery.
I mean, Utah might be the worst team in the league as far as fantasy. I just look at this roster, and I mean, how could you play some of these guys? Markkanen 77, Kessler 71, John Collins is expensive. They just have so many guys that are – the pricing's horrible. Like, the whole team is at least 1,000 overpriced, literally all the way down the list. They might be the easiest overall fade I've ever seen on a slate. And then Minnesota has all the best plays, in my opinion. Like you said, Randall is somewhat underpriced, it feels like, in this spot. Rudy, I don't love Rudy, but he's cheap. Nas is cheap. I can make a case for every single Minnesota guy against Utah. But the downside to that is you're playing guys in Utah, which is a dead zone where guys just go there to die. So I don't love that, but I do kind of love the idea of playing the cheapies, especially if Conley's out. You could play Nah and Dillingham together, and Ant, because they don't have other creators. I could play all of those guys. Why does Mango look older than JT?
He's lived a hard life. I mean, the guy's moving from tenement to tenement.
No, but Joey, I hate when people. Where's it at? That's how you get to me. Get out of here. One of these times I'm going to grow it out because I'm tired of people.
Is that? Have you started the plugs yet, or is that just you're taking the hymns?
You guys are hurting my feelings. I'm going to grow it out one of these times.
He's flying across to Europe to get the plugs in. That's what he's doing.
Unbelievable. I'm putting the hat back on. You guys are being mean. The hat's going back on.
Big follicle.
Big plug 44.
Follicle.
Man, it's tough. It's tough out in these parts. JT looks early. The Carlos Boozer.
Joe Band's very hurtful. I'm younger than that. Thank you.
the time. Oh, man.
Talk to us about the goddamn Wolves,
Yeah.
and you're not playing any Jazz. What are you doing on
I
Minnesota?
love the Wolves. I'm hoping Conley's out. If Conley's in, it does clutter the situation a lot. I mean, a lot more. Honestly, I think all three of those guys are significantly worse plays if he plays, obviously, because they just don't have any offense, and Randall. So I want Conley out. If Conley's out, I think you can play 3 or 4 Wolves. If Conley's in, I probably only want 2 Wolves. So, but I think they're clearly the top spot of the night for me.
Jaden McDaniels has been absolutely on fire lately. We have not seen this type of upside from him, not just consistently, but just almost in any game. And I don't know if it's the passiveness of Gobert or maybe just a better chemistry or just not enough shooters that he's taken on this new role. So certainly some interesting things there that we're seeing from Minnesota. Yeah, that's right. This show is sponsored by Hems and Hers because, of course, we do have some women who are watching. I'm talking about you being there. Next game is at 9:30 Eastern, Houston at Memphis. This game, Tony, interesting in real life. Interesting, I think, for DFS as well. Memphis favored by 5, 236.5 total, and pretty much healthy teams, except we do have the biggest news will be the question mark here with Alperen Şengün. He's questionable. His backup, Steven Adams, questionable as well. Tari Eason's going to play. Zach Edey's going to play. Ja Morant was at shoot-around today, but he remains questionable, Big T. Obviously, if Ja Morant misses, then you're talking about maybe a little bit more interest in Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane. What are your thoughts here on the Houston Rockets and the Grizzlies?
Yeah, and real quick, too, before I go into it, DFS and Gabe Vincent both out for the Lakers, too. So
seems like LeBron's probably going to play.
You would think with those two guys out, and also Dalton Knecht, even a better play now with those two guys out. So the Lakers are even better with those, and it makes me like LeBron more than I did before just because of that. But the Houston-Memphis game, Houston is one of those teams that I just don't have a good feel for. Like, they all have upside at times, but they feel overpriced, and they all have downside based on their prices too. They just have guys that, like, Amen Thompson's finally priced where he needs to be. He's having an incredible breakout year, but he's still expensive. Jalen Green's a scorer that's expensive. Van Vliet's overpriced. Şengün, I love his game, but he's still $9K. So I don't love these prices, but I think they're solid. They're just like floor, just filler type plays for me. And then the Memphis side, a lot like Utah, I just don't love it. I just don't love paying $7,700 for Desmond Bane or $78 for a guy that loves the foul, Jaren Jackson. And they have a lot of guys too. I mean, what are they're 10 deep. They like to play all these guys. I don't know. I don't love this game. This game's not one of my favorites by any means.
No love for this game. Now, people in Discord were asking, why did Amen Thompson only take 5 shots last time against the Hawks? They were handling the Hawks pretty well in that game, and it was a back-to-back. So guys are going to play generally a little bit fewer minutes. There's going to be a little bit more volatility with most teams in those situations. I'm fine with Amen Thompson here. Travis, what are your thoughts? Anything that you see that maybe Big T does not in the Houston and Memphis game?
Yeah, one thing to call out with this game is, I mean, the news, right? Like, if we do get these guys that get ruled out, like a Şengün gets ruled out or a Ja Morant, that will shift the slate for sure. So those are very big pieces of news that we are waiting on, and our opinions will change. And I'm with you, though. If these guys are in, like, this is not a game that I'm just looking to load the boat on and get a lot of exposure to. What are the reasons why? Well, one of the reasons is because a lot of these price tags have gone up, right? I mean, Fred VanVleet's fine at 7-1, Jalen Green 7-4. Like, they have upside, but they're not like mispriced, really good plays. It is a Dylan Brooks revenge game to go on that narrative. I know he smashed against Boston. I think the reason he smashed against Boston is they're obviously a team that has basketball kind of figured out. And I remember I was betting his unders, and I was like, I just hate betting Dylan Brooks unders here because I think the Celtics are smart enough to let this dude just shoot like a moron, right? it's going to happen at times. Is Memphis smart enough to let him shoot? I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think he's just like this guy to jam onto your teams, even though he just showed some upside. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane, if you get Ja Morant ruled out, they will become really strong plays that you'll definitely want to get exposure to. If Ja's out too, I assume Luke Kennard would start, not Scottie Pippen, which is what we have seen as of late. That's how I would handle it. That's what I would gravitate towards is Luke Kennard, as gross as that sounds. He showed the upside lately. He's been that starter. So he would be the guy I would look at. But I'm not looking to get a lot of exposure to these values. When you look at Santi Aldama at 4.6 and Zach Edey at 4.7, and you compare them to these earlier values, I would rather take shots on these earlier value plays and then adjust my lineups later on because we have all this time in between the games. And last but not least, JT Hayes, I do have a question for one of our chatters, Mr. Drew Carpenter. I'm looking at the game logs, and Amen Thompson had 31 DK points on January 9th, and then January 13th, he had 57. So, JT, if he did really good in one game and really bad, what is he going to do tonight? The game logs don't tell me what's going to happen, JT. So, does Drew Carpenter have an answer for me of what I do with Amen Thompson tonight?
What did Drew say that hurt your feelings?
He said Okongwu got 25 DK points last time against Cleveland, so he's a bad play. So that's I don't know what to do. He had a good game and then a bad game. So
got another.
So what do we do now, Drew? What do we do?
Okay. All right, Tony. Is that it, Travis? That's
well, to tie a bow on it, I actually don't like
rhetorical. I mean, that was a rhetorical question, obviously.
Well, I don't like Amen at his 8.6K price tag. That's just me. I think it's a little expensive on FanDuel. And then DK, he is, let's just double check.
83, I believe.
8.3, yeah. It's just, I'd rather play Austin Reeves, right? If I had to pick one, that's who I would go to.
Why do you have to pick one?
Well, if you tell me I'm in that range, like, you're in the Discord chat to HAT, and you say, find me a guy 8,500 and below, and you say, can you please give me options? And then you say Amen Thompson or Austin Reeves. I would say Austin Reeves.
All right. Again, the people in chat are siding against you, Travis. I hate to bring that news to you. Beanair with the team, Drew. Hashtag.
Of course, Beanair is riding dudes. Congrats.
Oh, there you go. All right. Any questions? Drop them in the chat. No topic is off limits. So there you go. That may make things interesting. Last game of the night, Travis. Orlando heading into Portland. Magic favored by 5.5, 212.5 total for the Orlando Magic. Gary Harris is going to be playing. That's very exciting. Jalen Suggs is questionable. On the Portland side, Jeremy Grant, Ryan Rupert are questionable, and Matisse Thybulle is out. So two pretty fully healthy teams. Of course, Franz Wagner is back now alongside Paolo Banchero. And the Portland Trailblazers side of this, right? It's a good matchup for the Magic, but there's still a ton of players on that team, and the rotations are not exactly ideal for DFS outside of Franz and Banchero. What are your thoughts here on this one, Travis?
Sorry, I just got a text message from Gregory. Can we have to digest this text message? I got a text. He goes, I'm filling in for captain on the projections. Phone is about to die, but not scheduled to get home till 6:25 with traffic shutting the bridge down. Can you update the projections for me? Yes, Gregory, I will update the projections for you. I know you're not listening, but Tony, do we believe Gregory's story, or is he out on a picnic with the lady?
No, I think he's usually on the up and up. I don't know why he's driving across the bridge right now, but
yeah, phone is about to die too.
He might have been on a picnic. The weather's been a little better.
Okay,
it's beautiful here in Atlanta.
And how's his phone going to die when he's driving anyways? Does he not have some sort of charger in the car?
Yeah.
So Thomas Kane is in here, and I haven't seen Thomas Kane in here before. So welcome, Thomas, first of all. And Thomas is a nasty guy. If the morons want to lock, it's Mephistopheles under 119 points. No disrespect. God bless.
2 words, too. Disrespect. I like it. It's extra disrespectful when you make it 2 words.
Yeah. So you start off with if the morons, and then you say, no disrespect, men. God bless all of you morons. I mean, that's one way to make an entrance, Thomas. It's one way to make an entrance. All right.
Come in strong.
Yeah. Travis, what are your thoughts? Memphis under 119, and then talk to us about the Magic and the Trailblazers.
I don't have any thoughts on Memphis 119, but I'll say this. I'm tracking you, Thomas. You better be back here tomorrow with more winners if you win. So, but
Thomas, apology accepted. We like magnanimous people.
Don't apologize.
React. Hey.
You came in strong, Thomas. We like that.
Hey, Thomas Kane, you're welcome anytime. Travis, talk to the people for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I will. Thomas, I might ride your bet. I'll look when I get off the show and make a decision. But hopefully, hopefully you're back tomorrow to take your victory lap or take your L for tomorrow's show. But yeah, let's talk about Orlando. I know Big T has talked about it. He's been like, I want to be on Paolo Banchero before the big game hits, right? And I don't know if he was on it for the Detroit game, but the minutes are back, right? He's officially back. They're here playing against Portland as well. He does seem like a good play here in this spot, so he's someone definitely to consider. Jalen Suggs is questionable. If he does miss, that's going to obviously help the usage of someone like Banchero. It could obviously allocate some minutes to an Anthony Black. But again, like we talked about earlier, there's just like better options for value. So I want to look for ways to get different more up at the top or in the mid-tier rather than with my value play, just because of how many good values there are on this slate. If you want another value that could be interesting, or not a value, a spend option, don't look now. Denny Avdia, he has been absolutely crushing. The minutes are there almost every single night. He's not a bad play. I do worry about the Orlando matchup. Listen, it's not my favorite matchup, but for 7.3K, I think he still has upside at the price. He's someone you could definitely consider. DeAndre Ayton, he's another one too. He's shown upside at times. Orlando likes to play big too, right? They are a team that want to go and play their big men all game. So what is Portland going to do? They're going to shake hands and agree and roll DeAndre Ayton out there. And if he's getting hot, he's not a bad play as a contrarian option at 6.6K. So I don't mind him. The guys I don't like messing with on Portland, I'm not really a big fan of playing these guards. Now, I understand Simon, Scoot Henderson, Shadon Sharp, Banton. Like, one of these guys could pop off for a big game. I am completely understanding that it can happen. My issue is I don't feel the need to play the roulette guessing game with these Portland guards. Now, if you have a take on it, you want to play one, certainly fine, go for it. It's probably more for the late night slate to do something like that. I know JBC shipped with those guys on the late night slate not too long ago. But for me, I don't see the need to guess with these guards. I'd rather play the secure minutes of Denny Avdia and DeAndre Ayton as contrarian plays, and then look to like a Paolo Banchero as a spend-up option here, and then mix and match some of these other values that we've talked about. I do not think you need to guess with the Portland guards, especially if we're playing like single entry or 3-max contests.
Big T Crew 1124 is here. He says, Banchero, he shot 1 for 14 against Portland the last time they played. Laughs his ass off. I mean, what does that mean? I think it means he's due, Big T. I think that is morons again, Crew. Thank you very much. All right. We've got it that says you morons. Big T, we think of Portland as a team that's terrible. Say what you want about Chauncey Billups. Say what you want about the talent or the makeup of this roster, but they play hard. They've been playing hard. They've won 3 games in a row, and it's not like they played the Hornets and the Jazz. They played the Heat. They played the Bucks, and they beat somebody else in the meantime. So it's a team that's been playing hard and doing okay. 5.5 spread. Is this a spot to get a little bit different and play some of these Magic players who are going to be a little bit almost unowned?
Yeah, it's a good contrarian spot too. Like we talk about, a lot of these early games look really good, and most people are going to play them just like we. Solid chart. There's nothing wrong with a good solid chart. But
wasn't even like, oops, it was now fully had to go in and take a shower to clean himself off.
But a lot of the ownership's going to come early. So I mean, on these slates where you got a split slate, basically 2 sevens and then 3 late games, there is something to be said for
never split
just one of these early games just totally sucking, or both of them sucking. You get a totally different build just pretending it's like a 3-game late slate and play some of these lower owned guys. It's just really hard now with the Lakers news and how much these guys pop. But everyone's going to do that. So I think, like our sweet Travis said, Paulo at 8,600 I mean, before he got hurt, I mean, he was a monster, and he's still a monster. He's getting back in form. I won't be surprised at all if he just nukes. I put him in that same category with who did I say earlier? Reeves and like Ant and some of these guys that have a bunch of upside in there in that same cheaper price range off of that wasn't who I said, Ant. Who else was I talking about? I can't remember who I was talking about now. Minnesota.
Garland.
Do you have a brain?
Garland, yeah, Garland and
I listen,
you.
Big T,
I
not like
appreciate
Travis.
that.
I listen.
I needed that too because it was killing me who I said.
Yeah.
I couldn't find him on my list. But so Garland, Reeves, and Paulo with all the cheapies, I think that's a tournament winning construction. Portland, though, I'm off Portland.
Off Portland. All right.
I can't play them against Orlando, guys. I do agree with Travis, though. Like, Danny's been awesome. I'm just not playing on this slate where you have clear-cut plays. I'm not playing guys against Orlando. I just can't do it.
You just don't need to, right? Like we're going to have a really strong set of values today. And also, you could make the case, hey, if I'm down, like let's say I decide to take a shot on Rashawn Holmes and it works out miserable for me, then I can pivot to like a Scoot Henderson and hope that he saves me, right? Like this is definitely.
Who can I pivot to if I play Okongwu and he sucks? Who's my pivot?
Maybe it's Rob Dillingham at low ownership.
Woo, baby, Rob! I can pivot to Rob. Yes.
Maybe that'll give you the opportunity to grab Banchero as well in your 2v2. So
something I might be interested in.
Okay. All right. We got no questions from the chat. We're going to go straight into the plays of the day, and then we'll get out of here an hour and 12 minutes until lock. And look, this is a slate, by the way. We have the Conley news. We have the Şengün news that we may not get by 7 o'clock. This is a slate where it doesn't end at 7. You don't just submit your CSV or put your lineup in and go out and hang out and go try and find the hottest dude on Grindr. This is a slate where you've got to be continually watching to see what happens with the news. It's a great late swap slate. I'm excited about it. Very happy about it tonight. But Travis, we have a question. We have a question. Weird question for Tony. Shake Milton is a shot creator and should be unowned. Is he a possible long shot play or no? He's definitely a long shot play. The question is, Tony, do you think he's worth it?
So, a shot creator, I don't know. Yeah. But so who do they got on the roster? So they got one of the reasons I liked Alton Connect was I said they don't have much shot creation outside of LeBron. So you got LeBron, Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, Max. I mean, I think you can roll the dice there. I don't think you need it on this slate. But would I be surprised if Shake Milton got a little extended run? No, I don't think it's the worst play. I don't think he's that much worse than like Dillingham.
Where were you? Well, Dillingham's been in the rotation and getting 17, 18, 20 minutes. You get Conley out. That's a big differentiator for
if Conley's out, yeah. I was more meaning if Conley was in, but yeah.
Yeah.
If Conley's out, then they're not the same type play.
Thoughts on Jared Vanderbilt? I believe he's still on a minutes restriction. And
he just is a defensive guy, too. It's like he's not any sort of offensive threat whatsoever.
All right. Travis, it's time. Or the sweet Travis.
Not even a mattress, all floors. Do you sleep on the ground?
No, I have a mattress. Fine. I had a mattress and I put the bed frame together not too long ago. So I think I slept.
Took a picture of you just sleeping in like a sleeping bag on the carpet. You would break Twitter. Should
I post a picture of me in the sleeping bag with the TV behind me and be like, games are
say another Thursday night in the Van Gogh household.
Yeah. Late night watching the TNT crew.
Yeah, and put something, like that in the background.
Chat, Anthony DeCecco. Do not see myself get into a lot of Jonathan Isaac. And then Joe Ruff, that's a hideous question. I gotta be honest. The options there are not good whatsoever. But I guess if you blindfolded me, I could see myself putting it to Ellen. I mean, if I had to and if I didn't know who it was. Travis, who's the sweet Travis play of the day?
Yeah, I mean, the sweet Travis play of the day. It's gotta be this is absurd. It's gotta be the one and only Mr. Onyeka Okongwu.
Come on.
Gotta take the Adonwu and shove it up Tony's ass. So give me Onyeka.
You can't go Morning Wood and give the obscure player that's clearly not going to do anything. Come on.
You gotta shove it right up Tony with Adonwu. And when he goes off for a big game, because he's gonna have
so let's clarify this before we get off. What's considered a big game at 7K tonight?
I'll let you decide. I don't know. I'll let you decide.
I mean, minimum in the 40s for sure, but I don't know what the exact. JT's a neutral party. What does he need, JT, at 7K to make Travis a victor
on this slate? Yeah,
just this slate.
I think he needs 44 DK points.
Yeah. 44. He needs 40. You can't use the number against me though.
One more. I'm
taking Onyeka Okongwu, so there you go.
Okay.
Okongwu.
I am going to go with a play that is has a slightly better chance of getting to the optimal, a little bit lower owned than certainly Valanciunas. I'm going to go with Jared Allen. Back to back here, great spot though against the Hawks. You mentioned Okongwu. You've got Larry Nance there. Larry Nance still looks like his hand is broken. I was watching that game. Every time he came near the basketball, he wins. It's not a good spot. I think they brought him back because they just needed bodies, and I don't think he's fully healthy. So I'm going to go with Jared Allen here at 6,500 on DraftKings, and he is my play of the day, the Eiffel Tower play of the day. Coincidentally, Big T, the workbench play of the day. I think there are several options that are interesting that I've heard you talk about, but it's time. It's time. Chat is going up. It's time for you to give the workbench play of the day.
It's a little annoying because, like I said, my play was for sure going to be Dalton Connect. Is he too popular now? I mean, he's going to be more popular.
I don't think he's all that popular now.
Either way, he's my play of the day. 3,900. I think he outscores Okongwu tonight at 7K just to own freaking sweet Travis. 3,900 owning Onyeka Okongwu, but love it. Dalton Connect, baby.
All right, Onyeka Okongwu. Keep in mind that is Travis.
I should have done Gay over him, over Okongwu, but
that is Travis's play. Jared Allen, Dalton Connect are the plays of the day.
Another one.
And that'll do it. So Cores will be up.
What was that?
That was what do you mean? What was that?
Where did it come from? How is it that loud?
It came from a special place.
From a special place.
Benny Boom wants to play Rashawn Holmes badly. He'll be in Discord, no doubt, recommending the worst plays on the slate. So get into the Run Pure Sports Discord and to see that. JBC's cores are up. There you go. Cores will be up. Guys will be in there talking about charts and swaps and late news. Remember, this is a slate where you need to be paying attention all night long, just like Travis is going to be on his tiny little mattress. For Travis, for Big T, good luck in your contests tonight.